My name is Angelica Larsson and I'm a truck driver from Sweden. You're probably wondering what I have been doing and what I'm up to now. So I'm going to show you, the truck that I'm driving is actually very nice.
Angelica Larsson, to millions online, her name means blonde curls, massive trucks, and the kind of confidence that makes her look untouchable. But what if we told you the viral star of Sweden's highways isn't quite the woman you think she is? Behind the flawless Instagram posts and YouTube vlogs lies a story darker, stranger, and far more complicated than her followers could ever imagine. She's built an empire on grit, steel, and determination. But the price she's paid, secrets she's guarded, and the battles she's fought off camera will change the way you see her forever. Her love for trucking didn't arrive as a teenage rebellion or an adult career change. No, it sparked much earlier, in a memory that almost feels cinematic. Imagine a small girl, barely tall enough to peer out of a semi-truck's window, stepping into the driver's cab one summer afternoon. The seat seemed impossibly huge. The steering wheel was a circle of promise, a compass pointing toward horizons she hadn't yet seen. Most kids at 4 years old are imagining castles or cartoons, but for Angelica, that truck represented something else. The wild, intoxicating freedom to move, explore, and roam the world on her own terms. That one moment planted a seed. Fast forward to her teenage years. By the time her classmates were daydreaming about future jobs, Angelica's mind was already set. In 2009, at just 19 years old, she passed Sweden's rigorous test for a commercial vehicle license. To some, this might have seemed too soon and too ambitious, but for her, it felt inevitable. Like finally unlocking the door to the life she had always pictured. While friends were still working out college choices, part-time jobs, or gap years, Angelica was already navigating icy Swedish highways in a rig built for seasoned professionals. Those early years were anything but easy. Long hours, treacherous mountain passes, snowstorms that swallowed the road whole. It was trial by fire. But trial by fire creates steel, and Angelica thrived under pressure. She grew sharper, steadier, and more determined with every trip. And instead of limiting herself to just semi-trucks, she widened her skill set to snowplows, dump trucks, loaders, heavy machinery that could intimidate anyone. In her hands, though, each machine became almost an extension of herself. And here's where something interesting happens. It was beyond just the trucking community that noticed her skill. The wider world started paying attention, too. Social media was growing fast in the early 2000s, and Angelica, almost casually at first, began posting pictures and clips online. At the start, she leaned into fitness posts, but soon something else began resonating. When she shared snippets of herself in the cab, steering rigs across snow-glazed landscapes, viewers saw something refreshing. A small woman, confident, competent, playful even, handling a truck like she was born to do it. Her Instagram following grew quickly. Hundreds, thousands, and then hundreds of thousands. Today, she counts more than 330,000 loyal followers there and an even larger community on YouTube. But the numbers alone don't tell the story. What drew people in was beyond just novelty. It was the paradox. A small woman dwarfed by the massive machines she controlled, showing both grace and grit. But what people didn't see was how that visibility was quietly rewriting her life in ways she never asked for. Angelica didn't act larger than life. She didn't present a polished character. She laughed, filmed the mishaps. She let her followers see her in work clothes, sweaty and tired. And somehow, that vulnerability made her even stronger in their eyes. But that very openness, the thing that drew fans closer, also gave strangers permission to cross boundaries she had never agreed to. Fans and media dubbed her the world's most beautiful truck driver. It was meant as a compliment, but Angelica herself pushed back. She has always insisted that she doesn't want admiration for her looks. She wants people to notice her discipline, strength, and her precision. She wakes before dawn, inspects her rig with military-level focus, and then sets out into the ice, the fog, or the endless stretches of northern roads with a professionalism that demands respect. But as her fame grew, her beauty became both a blessing and a curse. Behind the nickname was a shadow, unwanted attention that escalated into something darker. Men began turning up at her home, Some even found their way to her family's doorstep. In Sweden, where personal information is public, Angelica learned the hard way how thin the line between admiration and intrusion could be. It was enough to force her to move and even create a fake identity online, just to keep a semblance of safety. Her YouTube channel, which now has over 319,000 subscribers, became the natural extension of Instagram. She began posting weekly vlogs, raw footage of her life, behind-the-scenes looks at the hard work of trucking, challenges she faced, and even playful stunts. But every upload also carried risk. Every new follower was a possible fan, but also a possible threat. YouTube pays her around $6,000 per month to be exact, double what she makes hauling freight across Sweden. Yet Angelica hasn't spent any of that money, not a single krona. Instead, she saves it, setting it aside for travel and for a cause she holds close to her heart, supporting young women who dream of entering trucking but face barriers. But the success that looked glamorous from the outside came with its own quiet tragedies. In a vulnerable moment, she admitted that the relentless pace, driving, filming, editing, brand deals, modeling, even writing a book, has delayed her dream of starting a family. For all the miles she has conquered, this was the one road she feared she might never have time to travel. Still, she pushes forward, signing to Exa models, collaborating with global brands like Pepsi and Cummins. She's kind of a bridge between industry and audience, style and substance. Yet the more her face appeared on billboards, the harder it became to keep her private world untouched. Her journey even carried her to television. In 2020, she appeared on Svenska Truckers, a reality show spotlighting Sweden's trucking community. The show amplified her visibility, but more importantly, it made a statement. Truckers aren't just anonymous faces behind the wheel. They're storytellers, characters, professionals, men and women whose lives deserve attention. But with more exposure came more risk. Some critics accused her of selling out. Others tried to reduce her to just a model posing with machines. The very platform that lifted her was also the stage where others tried to tear her down. In 2022, she added another chapter, Author. Her book, Vägval, translated as Choices, peeled back the curtain on her private life. It was about the turning points, heartbreaks, relationships that tested her, and the decisions that shaped her. She admitted struggles, she admitted fear, and she revealed how trucking gave her a sense of freedom and strength that nothing else could. And then there are the adrenaline pursuits. When she's not trucking, she's skydiving, riding motorcycles, and scuba diving. Recently, she even raced hydrogen-powered trucks, a glimpse into the future of the industry she loves. That adventurous streak that needs to push boundaries shows up everywhere in her life. But sometimes it reads less like thrill-seeking and more like a chase, an attempt to outrun the shadows that fame and loneliness have left behind. Her net worth, depending on the source, sits somewhere between $1 million and $5 million. But that number feels almost irrelevant compared to what she's really building, a legacy. Because money can fade, followers can drift. But a story, a true story about a girl who looked at a truck and saw freedom, that lasts. Yet even here, in her success, is a haunting question. What was the cost of that freedom? Beyond trucking, she's become a mentor. Through speaking engagements, online communities, and her book, she encourages women to step into fields they've been told aren't for them. Whether that's trucking or something else, her message is simple. It doesn't matter what you look like. It matters what you can do, how you show up, and how hard you're willing to work. But between the lines, her story is also a warning. Breaking barriers often means breaking yourself in ways others will never see. And that's the real truth about Angelica Larsson. The way she proves, mile after mile, that authenticity and strength are born not just from triumphs, but from tragedies she doesn't always let the world see.